Liverpool have beaten PSG 1-0 in Paris. One of the most impressive results for Arne Slot by a country mile this season. And dare I say it, one of the most impressive results for Liverpool since they last won the Champions League with Jurgen Klopp. Even in the last 20 years, even when Rafa Benitez was there and they won the Champions League all that time ago, we're talking 20 odd years ago. These are the kind of results that build Champions League winning campaigns, because Liverpool today surrendered the ball. They surrendered big chances to PSG. They rode their luck. They asked Alisson to pull off world-class, unbelievable, generationally good goalkeeping to keep them in the game. And Liverpool hit with a beautiful Harvey Elliott strike. It is the kind of masterful Champions League match play that I think will see Liverpool, at the very least, get to the final. I think they are an unbelievably strong side. The way they manage this game, the way they pace themselves, the substitutions from Arne Slot, the defending a clean sheet in Paris. This PSG side are no joke. They are the most well-balanced, possession-based side that I've seen from PSG since their takeover, since they started competing heavily in the Champions League. Obviously not got over the line yet. Luis Enrique absolutely schooled Guardiola a few weeks ago with a massive 4-2 win. Vitinha in midfield is fantastic. Neves in midfield, fantastic. The front three of Barcola, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, they're fantastic. And they've lost 1-0. That only happens when you're playing against masterful, world-class sides. There are only two sides of this level in world football right now. One of them is Liverpool Football Club and the other is Real Madrid. It's a bit of a shame we're not going to potentially see them in a final. This is absolutely incredible. It is. Liverpool, I think, are basically through into the Champions League quarter-finals. PSG won't win at Anfield. PSG have never won on English soil, I think. Certainly, they've never won at Anfield. Their record in these kind of fixtures are really poor. And I don't want to be too heavy on PSG because they've just fallen into the trap that I think PSG will always find themselves in. They come from the French League. Obviously, there are big games for France fans in the French League. PSG versus Marseille and other games like that. And Lyon, don't get me wrong. But they're never competing. Man City, when Man City were going for the treble, were competing against Liverpool. Big game against Manchester United. Great Chelsea sides, Arsenal sides, Spurs sides. It goes on and on. Newcastle, Villa, Everton. And PSG have all this talent in the squad. I thought Marquinhos was fantastic, playing out from the back. Mendes was fantastic. Hakimi. They got such a brilliant, dynamic side, and they want to play for their team. This wasn't a lazy performance where they got caught out. They were fantastic today, PSG. I can't stress that enough. We're going to talk about their chances in a minute. But the French League, for me, a little bit symptomatic of just have that final 10, 15 minutes. PSG will never be able to train to the level needed to break down a Van Dijk defence, an Alisson defence. It never will be able to, in my opinion. That's why I think they've never won the Champions League, because the final 5, 10, 15% that you need doesn't come from a league like the French League. I'm not trying to use this video to slag off the French League, because PSG are in the French League. That is their league. But we've never seen a French side win the Champions League for the last 35, 40 years. And I think that is down to the strength of the division. Liverpool can just sit there, counter-punch like Alexander Usyk, just sitting there, just counter-punching, waiting for the mistake, and they waited 90 minutes. It is a level of patience, a level of maturity that is absolutely exceptional. The first half, it was all PSG. They had over 60% possession. They dominated the ball. Again, I go back to Vitinha. I think he's an absolute superstar. I think he'll be in the Premier League soon enough, or probably Real Madrid or something. He's exceptional. But the front three, I mean, Kvaratskhelia created so many chances off the left. He really did. That's not down to Trent Alexander-Arnold's bad defending by any stretch of the imagination. But there's just so much space because of the overlapping runs from the fullbacks. The midfielders were fantastic on the ball, kept possession. The chances were clear, particularly in the first half. Barcola had a chance. Dembele had a couple of chances. One in the second half where he blew over as well. Probably 2 or 3 chances. There was only one big moment in the game where I really felt that Alisson pulled off an unbelievable save. There's probably 6 or 7 half chances in the first half, which looks like a lot of pressure. I think Liverpool were just riding it out, in my honest opinion. They were just riding out the storm. I don't think the storm was that severe. It was all PSG, don't get me wrong. Salah had a quiet game. Going forward, Trent didn't really link up play very well. Andy Robertson was doing a decent job, but he obviously isn't able to bomb forward in the same way. Szoboszlai, energetic off the ball. Nothing could stick. Liverpool's passing wasn't great today. I don't think that was the game plan. I think there were moments where they could have been a little bit better, particularly in the second half when it was still 0-0. But ultimately, it doesn't matter, because what happens in the second half is a couple of moments of almost genius from Arne Slot. The first one has to be bringing on Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez created a chance against Donnarumma. It was flagged offside and he smashed it into Donnarumma's face. That kind of bit of a trope at this point, causing havoc. He did it as soon as he came on. This long ball came over the top and it was offside, but he was scaring the back line for PSG from minute 1. And then the goal happens. We're going to have to break it down because it's an exceptional finish from Harvey Elliott. It's route 1 from Alisson over the top. It bounces into Darwin Núñez's path and he releases the ball. Very, very mature, very, very patient. He doesn't shoot on sight. He doesn't link up the play straight away. He actually carries the ball and he carries kind of the defenders with him, and they're focusing on the ball. It actually opens up more space for Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott had been on for 47 seconds. He scores with a brilliant finish. I think Donnarumma, being nearly 7 foot tall, I think he should do better. If he gets his hand on it, then that means he should probably be doing better, in my honest opinion. I think he's always got that in him, Donnarumma, particularly at this level. A little bit of a mistake. Unfortunately, never made those kind of mistakes against England in the Euros final a few years ago. But it's harsh saying it's a mistake. But if he gets his hand on it, who knows? You have to give credit to Harvey Elliott. It's a first-time strike, opening his body. I mean, this kid, you talk about him like he's 25, 26. He's been around the block. He's 21 years old. Absolutely incredible. You could see it, the scenes in the stadium from him and the Liverpool players afterwards. I think they know they've qualified with that goal. 0-0, it's obviously a little bit still up in the air, and PSG could always nick something and defend for their lives. 1-0, PSG aren't winning this game 2-0 at Anfield. No way. I bet my camera, I bet my iPhone on it, I bet everything on it. Whatever I've got, whatever possessions I've got, I'll bet on it, because there's no way Liverpool are losing this game at Anfield. I don't even think they concede a goal. We have to talk about the defensive unit from Liverpool today. Happy to sit there. It's very Jose Mourinho-like. Arne Slot is a bit of a chameleon at points. He can be a little bit like Guardiola, a little bit like Jurgen Klopp, and a little bit like Jose Mourinho. Today, this was a Jose Mourinho performance. Konate, superb. Van Dijk, superb. And actually, in the final 20 minutes, I thought Trent Alexander-Arnold put in an unbelievable defensive display, nicking balls away from people. Not like smashing challenges, but little moments where he was just being smart, understanding the game, understanding when to put in a challenge. I thought positioning was fantastic as well. Andy Robertson, but I think man of the match, despite Harvey Elliott's brilliance, has to be Alisson. I think Alisson is the best keeper in world football. I think he's been at this level for many, many years. He goes under the radar just because of how long he's been at the club. And keepers do just go under the radar. He is a 10 out of 10. He's a generational keeper. He's now kept the most clean sheets in the history of Liverpool Football Club in the Champions League format. And it says a lot. I think he's shot stopping. There was a chance in the final 85th minute. It might have been from Neves, midfielder from the edge of the box. And he pulls off like this Schmeichel-esque save that was just out of this world. It might have been Doué, actually. Doué. A huge save from Doué. We're talking Schmeichel-esque. We're talking Van der Sar-esque. Manuel Neuer-esque. It was incredible. So Liverpool have to thank their manager as well. I think he gave them the exact right game plan. Their gear went down a little bit. They aren't burnt out massively. They're not trying to fight for every ball. You feel maybe Jurgen Klopp might have approached this game in a different kind of way. And it might have burnt them out. It might have been more of a 2-1 win to Liverpool, 3-2. But to keep a clean sheet, there's an element of calmness there. Van Dijk was imperious form. No question about it. And Arne Slot making big substitutions. Harvey Elliott, Darwin Núñez, and even Endo, I thought, brought a little bit of spice at midfield and broke up play very, very well. It's a big result for Liverpool. 1-0 to those guys. Absolutely exceptional result. And they'll pick things up at Anfield, no question. They could blow these guys away 3 or 4-0 at Anfield. Let me know in the comments down below. I'll be doing a Champions League wrap-up later in the week. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you very, very soon.